The biggest mistake I see in gardens is not choosing the wrong fertilizer or forgetting to water. It is planting the same vegetables again and again every single year without asking whether they really need to be replanted at all. I did that myself for decades. Every spring I would buy seeds, prepare the beds, plant everything, and then start the whole job over the following year. It took time, it cost money, and after a while I started wondering why I was working so hard just to get back to the same place. Then an older gardener showed me a different way. He walked through his garden and pointed to plants that had been there for years, feeding his family season after season without being dug up and started again from a packet of seeds. That changed how I looked at gardening. Some vegetables do not need you to begin from zero every spring. Once they are established, they can return from their roots, bulbs, crowns, or underground parts and give you food again and again. And some of them can even multiply, giving you more planting material without buying more. That is the part I wish somebody had shown me when I was younger. Because when you are over 50, you start to appreciate anything that saves your back, your time, and your money. A garden should give something back to you. It should not feel like another full-time job. Today, I want to show you 20 perennial vegetables and edible plants that can become the quiet foundation of a garden like that. Some are familiar, like asparagus and rhubarb. Others are plants I rarely see in ordinary garden beds anymore, even though older gardeners knew their value. One of them can spread by itself. Another can give you fresh greens before most annual vegetables have even started growing. And one of the plants near the end of this list has a very unusual way of planting itself for the following season. But there is something important to understand before you put any of these in the ground. Planting once does not mean forgetting the plant completely. A perennial still needs a good start, enough space, reasonable water, and occasional feeding. The difference is that you are building something that can keep paying you back instead of starting over every year. And once you see how these plants work together, you may never look at an empty garden bed the same way again. The first thing I learned about perennial vegetables is that the hardest part is often not growing them. It is giving them enough time to become established. We are so used to annual vegetables that we expect everything to reward us within a few weeks. We plant a seed, we water it, we look for a harvest, and if nothing happens quickly, we start thinking something is wrong. But perennial plants work differently. They are building something underground that you cannot see yet. I remember learning this with asparagus. The first time I planted it, I kept checking the bed because I wanted those thick green shoots right away. They came up, but I had to leave most of them alone. That felt strange when I was used to harvesting whatever looked ready. An older gardener told me that asparagus is a plant you grow for the future, not just for today. Once the roots are properly established, the reward can last for many years. A well-cared-for asparagus bed can keep producing for 15 to 20 years without being moved. That is a long time to receive food from one piece of garden ground. And that is where I think perennial gardening becomes especially useful for people who do not want to spend every spring doing heavy work. You prepare the ground once, give the plant a good start, and then each season becomes easier. Rhubarb works in much the same way. It looks almost too large for an ordinary vegetable bed, with those enormous leaves and thick red stalks, but once it settles in, it comes back every spring and can remain productive for 10 years or more when harvested properly. The old method was simple. Give these plants room, improve the soil with compost, and then leave them alone more than you think you should. That last part is where many gardeners make the mistake. They see a young perennial looking healthy and immediately start taking too much from it. I've learned to ask a different question. Is this plant ready to feed me? Or is it still building the strength that will feed me for the next 10 years? That small change in thinking can save a lot of disappointment. And once you understand it, the next plants become even more interesting because some of them do not just survive from one season to the next. They actually help create more plants for you. There was a time when people did not think of the garden as something they had to rebuild every spring. They looked at it more like a pantry that was still alive. Some plants stayed in the same place for years, and families learned which ones could be harvested early, which ones needed to be left alone, and which ones would quietly multiply without much help. I think we lost some of that patience when gardening became centered around packets of seeds and quick harvests. I am not against seeds. I still plant plenty of them. But there is something comforting about walking outside in early spring and finding food already waiting for you because you planted it years ago. Sorrel is one of those plants. It has been grown in European kitchen gardens for centuries, and what I like about it is how little fuss it asks for once it is established. The leaves have a fresh lemon-like taste that works well in soups, salads, sauces, fish dishes, and eggs. It also has one advantage that annual greens cannot give you. It can return season after season from the same established plant. The old method is simple. Give it fertile soil that holds moisture but drains properly. Keep the plant watered during dry periods and refresh the surface with compost each spring. Then harvest the outer leaves and leave the center alone. That small habit matters because the center is where new leaves keep developing. Most people make the mistake of taking everything at once because the plant looks so healthy, and then they wonder why it slows down. I learned a long time ago that a perennial rewards a light hand. Take what you need and leave enough behind for the plant to continue. And then there is Egyptian walking onion, which may be one of the most interesting vegetables I have ever grown. It does something ordinary onions do not. Instead of simply finishing its season and disappearing, it returns and produces small clusters of bulbs at the top of its stems. When those little bulbs become heavy, the stem bends toward the ground, and the bulbs can root there and create new plants. That means your original planting can slowly become a larger patch without you buying another packet or another tray of seedlings. That is the kind of old garden trick I really appreciate because it saves money without making the work harder. You can start it from top bulbs or divided bulbs, let the plants establish, and then allow the strongest ones to multiply. After a few seasons, you may have onions for cooking, green shoots for early meals, and new planting material, all from the same patch. But the real surprise is that these plants are only the beginning. There are other perennial vegetables that hide underground, others that return from crowns, and one that can turn a single small planting into a permanent food source if you know exactly when to harvest it. And that is where this list starts getting really useful. Once you understand the idea of letting a plant establish itself instead of constantly starting over, a few more vegetables begin to make a lot of sense. One of my favorites is asparagus because it teaches patience better than almost anything else in the garden. The first season is not really about filling your kitchen with asparagus. It is about building a strong, permanent bed that can feed you for many years. I remember how difficult it was for me to leave those young shoots alone when I first started growing it. They looked ready to eat, and every part of me wanted to cut them. But that is exactly where most people make the mistake. A young asparagus plant needs time to build the underground strength that will support future harvests. Once the bed is established, you can begin taking spears in spring while leaving enough growth behind to keep feeding the roots. A good asparagus bed can remain productive for 15 to 20 years, which makes that first season of patience look very small in comparison. The old method I still follow is simple. I give asparagus its own permanent place, keep the soil reasonably fertile, add compost when needed, and avoid disturbing the roots every year. This is not a plant I want to move around. Then there is rhubarb, another plant that earns its place in a permanent garden. It comes back every spring from the same established crown, and when it is happy it can remain productive for 10 years or more. I like rhubarb because once it is established, the work becomes surprisingly small. I watch the plant, keep weeds from taking over, add compost around it, and harvest the stalks without taking everything at once. That same idea comes up again and again with perennial vegetables. You do not want to take the whole plant just because you can. You take enough to use while leaving enough strength behind for another season. Another plant worth knowing is sea kale. It is less common in modern gardens, but older perennial gardens valued it because it can provide edible shoots and leaves while returning from the same established root system. It needs a sunny position, good drainage, and room to settle, but once established it can become one of those plants you simply notice each spring and remember that you planted years ago. And this is where I think perennial gardening starts to feel different from ordinary vegetable gardening. Instead of asking what you need to plant this year, you start asking what you can plant now that will still be feeding you years from now. But the next group is even more interesting, because these plants do not just survive in the same place. Some of them can spread, divide, or multiply, and that means your original investment can slowly turn into more food and more plants without another trip to the garden center. This is where perennial gardening gets especially interesting because some of these plants do not simply come back from the same place each year. They can actually make more planting material for you while they grow. One example is Jerusalem artichoke. I first became interested in it because it seemed almost too simple. You plant the tubers in the ground, and after the plant settles in, you can harvest some in autumn while leaving a few pieces behind for the following year. Those pieces can produce another crop without buying anything new. The plant is tough and can handle poor soil and dry conditions better than many vegetables. The important thing I learned is that you should give it room because it can spread strongly once established. That can be a wonderful thing if you want a permanent food patch, but it can become a problem if you put it beside delicate vegetables and then forget about it. I like to keep plants like this in a place where their natural spreading habit works in my favor. Horseradish is another one that teaches the same lesson in a completely different way. It is one of those plants that can stay in the garden for years and become stronger with very little attention. Even small pieces of root left in the soil can produce new growth. That makes it wonderfully inexpensive to maintain, but it also means you need to choose its location carefully. I have learned not to plant something that spreads aggressively in the middle of a bed that I plan to change every season. Give it a permanent corner and let it do its work there. The leaves and roots have a strong flavor, and the roots can be harvested when you need them while the plant remains in place. That is the old way of thinking that keeps coming back in this kind of garden. You do not have to harvest everything simply because it is ready. You can take what you need and leave the rest to keep the system going. Then there are plants that feel almost like living fences. Certain edible bamboos can produce young shoots year after year once they are properly established. The shoots are harvested while young and tender and can be cooked after proper preparation. But this is one plant where I would never ignore its spreading habit. Some bamboo can move quickly through an area, so it needs a location where that growth can be managed. The same old rule applies. Know what the plant wants to do before you give it a permanent home. And then there is chaya, which is sometimes called tree spinach. It can live for years and provide edible leaves from a mature plant. There is one important safety point here. The leaves need to be boiled for about 10 to 15 minutes before eating. That simple step is not something I would ever skip. What I like about these plants is that they remind me that saving money in the garden is not always about finding a cheaper fertilizer. Sometimes the biggest saving comes from planting something once and allowing it to keep producing planting material food or both. But there is still another group ahead that takes this idea even further, because some plants can give you food early in the season when the ordinary vegetable beds are still almost empty. Now, we are getting to the plants that really change the way I think about a permanent garden, because they can keep giving you something useful when many ordinary vegetables have already slowed down or disappeared. One that deserves attention is Malabar spinach. It is not true spinach, but it has become one of those dependable greens I like to have around because it keeps producing during warm weather when ordinary spinach would already be finished. The leaves are thick and tender when picked young, and the vines naturally climb. So a simple trellis or fence gives the plant somewhere to go without taking over the whole garden bed. The old method here is not complicated. Give it warmth, steady moisture, fertile soil, and something to climb, then keep harvesting the leaves so the plant continues producing. What I like most is that you can keep a small amount of space working for you instead of needing another large bed every season. And that brings us to another plant that looks more like part of the landscape than a vegetable garden. Edible bamboo can produce young shoots year after year once it becomes established. Not every bamboo is suitable for eating, so this is one where you need to choose an edible species and know exactly what you planted. The young shoots are harvested while they are tender, then cleaned and boiled before being used in meals. The plant spreads through underground growth, which is exactly why I would give it a permanent location where spreading can be controlled. I learned that lesson with aggressive plants the hard way. A plant that gives you free food for years is wonderful, but you still need to decide where you want it to live before you put it in the ground. And then there is chaya, sometimes called tree spinach, which is one of the most unusual plants in this whole group. Once established, it can live for years and provide edible leaves from a plant that grows much larger than ordinary spinach. It is especially interesting in warm climates because it handles heat and dry conditions better than many tender greens. Even better, new plants can be started from stem cuttings, so one established plant can provide material for another without buying new seed every year. But there is one rule with chaya that I would never ignore. The leaves need to be boiled for about 10 to 15 minutes before eating. That preparation removes the natural compound that makes raw leaves unsafe. This is exactly why I say old gardening knowledge is useful when it is paired with common sense. The goal is not to collect every unusual plant we can find. The goal is to build a garden that is reliable, simple, and useful. And once you have a few of these long-lived plants established, something surprising begins to happen. Spring arrives, and instead of looking at empty beds wondering what to plant first, you walk outside and find food already growing. That is when you finally understand why older gardeners valued permanent crops so much. They were not just growing vegetables, they were planting for the years ahead. When I look back at all the gardens I have grown over the years, the plants I appreciate most are not always the ones that produced the biggest harvest in their first season. They are the ones that stayed. They came back when I was not thinking about them and quietly gave me another harvest without asking me to start over. That is the real value of perennial vegetables. Asparagus can remain productive for 15 to 20 years. Rhubarb can stay in the garden for a decade or more. Sorrel can return each spring with fresh leaves before many annual vegetables are ready. Egyptian walking onions can even multiply themselves by producing little bulbs that fall and root to create new plants. These are not complicated tricks, and they do not require expensive equipment. They require a little patience and a permanent place where the plants can settle. Some of the others we talked about can spread or reproduce from pieces of the original plant, which means your garden can slowly build its own supply of food and planting material. I think that is especially useful as we get older, because gardening should become simpler with time, not harder. Instead of filling every bed with vegetables that must be planted again next spring, I like leaving room for plants that can become part of the garden itself. You prepare the soil once, give the plant a good start, keep it watered when it needs water, add a little compost, and then let the roots do what they were made to do. There is something satisfying about that kind of gardening because every year you are not starting from zero. You are building on what you already created. And if you remember only one thing from this video, remember this. Do not judge a perennial plant by what it gives you in its first season. Give it time to become established, and it may repay you for many years afterward. That is the old method I keep coming back to. Plant less, disturb the soil less, waste less, and choose plants that can keep giving. Start with just 2 or 3 of these this year and let them become the permanent backbone of your garden. Because once you have tasted the freedom of walking outside in spring and finding food already waiting, you may start looking for another group of forgotten plants that can do the same thing. And there are more of them than most gardeners realize.